Ah yeah, y'all remember that sound, don't you? That wonderful playful tune that rings in the back of our heads, taking us back to a time when we were younger, just got home from school, got our homework done, and it was time to play some Crash Bandicoot. I think Crash Bandicoot is one of those characters and games that just kind of transcends time. I mean, everybody loves Crash Bandicoot, right? He was basically PlayStation's answer to characters like Mario and Sonic. Releasing on September 9th, 1996, Crash 1 was welcomed by a positive reaction due to its addictive gameplay and cartoonish art style, all centered around a quirky, charismatic protagonist, the marsupial himself, Crash Bandicoot. Crash would go on to have multiple sequels and spin-offs. Due to his rather overwhelming popularity, it was no surprise that developers were looking to cash in on the Bandicoot's popularity. With all that being said, the first game in the series, while being the birthplace of this franchise, would sadly have to be considered the most flawed mechanically of the bunch. With questionable hitboxes and somewhat janky movement, it can be hard to revisit in 2025. But before we get into any of that mess, I'd like to thank today's sponsor.
No one!
Come to think of it, my channel needs a theme song. Wrong channel. No, I need something that really speaks to the energy that trophy hunting really delivers. I know! Now obviously we can't get a platinum trophy while playing the original Crash, so enter the Crash Bandicoot Sane Trilogy. Released June 30th, 2017, over 20 years since the original, it brought all three of the original PlayStation 1 games back to life with a very impressive fresh coat of paint. Sadly, some of the original jank still seems to be hanging around for this one, but all in all, this trilogy was a great way to relive some of that nostalgic joy from so long ago. So, if we're going to do this, we may as well start where it all began, with the first one. Trophy-wise, all three of the Crash Bandicoot games are relatively simple, and they don't veer off the too many cliffs, for the most part. Oh, wow. Good thing they released this trophy list, or else we wouldn't know what to do. Story-wise, Crash Bandicoot is just as simple as you would assume. Crash was experimented on, blah blah blah, evil mad scientist, yada yada yada, and now after escaping, Crash needs to trek his way back to rescue his girlfriend Tawna. Oh dear God, what the fuck? Why do they have to? Oh God, oh gee, what the? Seriously though, why is this necessary? Why must we sexualize the animals? Like, what were the developers thinking? Oh, okay, I'll just take this Bandicoot, slap some tits on it, call it a day.
There, now it's art.
Regardless of all that shit, the trophy list has surprisingly few trophies that actually do with the game's story itself. Most trophies being miscellaneous, requiring you to do a bunch of random nonsense like missing a bunch of boxes or getting killed by a certain enemy. The most agitating trophies would be saved for achieving all the gold relics in every stage, which as you will see later was quite a cruel trick to pull on the player, considering this game was never designed in a way where time trials should exist, but which the remake, they simply said, fuck it, went whole hog, balls deep, and forgot the meaning of the word consent, because let me tell you, the time trials aren't fun. Like, at all. The first night we streamed went quite well, honestly, considering we were able to knock out quite a bit of the trophy list and the game's story entirely within a few hours. These games are all easy, and that's an objective fact. Why? Because fuck you. I'm not going to waste a bunch of time talking about the miscellaneous crap because it's repeated throughout all three games, but what I will talk about as well is some of the other delights these games ask of the player. Like finding all of the colored gems, which require you to beat a certain stage without dying while breaking every box in the stage. Basically, think Crash 4's insane perfect relics, except you don't have to do every single stage in the game, because some jackass game designer thought that would be a good idea. Bro must have a big ol' wiener.
Nice car.
But don't be misled about this game. It's not all platforming and time trials. Oh no. We've got boss fights. Crash has boss fights. Confirmed Souls-like. So let's go down the boss roster together. We've got Jim Bro, Stole Your Girl, tweaker behind the mini-mart dumpster, average male feminist, and our Lord and Savior, Donald Trump. It's all jokes, guys. I love all people who look and think exactly like me. So like I said, we're not going to spend too much time on this other stuff because it's all relatively simple. Before the time trials, the most pressing matter was collecting all gems for breaking all boxes. These being different than the colored gems because these gems can be achieved even while dying, thereby completing 2 life goals in the process. Also, small apology here, I know it's taken like for hell and ever for me to get this video out, but you know what it's like, guys. You scroll down the internet, you get distracted easily. But we're getting ahead of ourselves here, so let's take you losers back to the start as we journey with Crash to rescue the innocents from this crazy man's evil island.
Oh no!
Starting the journey out, I naturally assumed that knocking out as many clear gems as possible would be helpful as I went through the game naturally. While this won't be possible for every stage before acquiring the necessary colored gems, doing as many before that felt like the most efficient way to handle this platinum. As I said, clear gems are acquired by breaking every box in the stage, and while the first few stages aren't difficult to locate them, this won't always be the case as they do get kind of devious with the locations of these crates, throwing them down alternate paths and causing you to backtrack through multiple routes. Later levels really push this design choice to its limits, considering that the camera never turns to face your direction, so backtracking usually involves a lot of blindly jumping into areas you have absolutely zero visual of. And while it wasn't necessary, I made sure to achieve my first gold relic immediately, just to remind you all that I'm a fat fucking 10, and if you're not subscribed, it's okay to admit that your spouse has been working later than usual. As we progress through the game, we gradually pop trophies for defeating the bosses along the way. Bosses who, by the way, I beat first try every time. I have no reason to lie. Don't watch the VODs, take me at face value, consume product, and don't ask questions. I'm a pro gamer, just ask. The Lost City is where the difficulty started to ramp up, becoming the first real hurdle when it came to achieving both the clear gem and the colored gem. Whether it was pitfalls, lizards, bats, unbalanced moving platforms, or just my own stupidity, this was a fine introduction to the cock and ball torture that would come to pass, because if there is one thing that Crash Bandicoot does right, it's breathe new life into the feeling of wishing you were dead. Don't screw this up, don't screw this up. Jump on it correctly. Alright, and this guy right here. Oh, there we go. There we go. Okay. Okay. Moving on from there, we would make our way to Road to Nowhere, a stage that I'm sure anyone that has played Crash before will already surely be familiar with, and while I'm sure you're expecting me to talk about that dumpster fire, I'm going to save all of my thoughts for when we speak on the time trial for the much later, harder variant of this stage. Next on the chopping block would be Boulder Dash, a style of stage that Crash would introduce where running towards the camera away from a boulder as opposed to running forward. A style that would continue to be a part of the Crash franchise from its inception all the way to the most current game. Fun fact, this stage was actually inspired by Caseyanthony running away from her maternal responsibilities. I'm just kidding, guys, they're way different. For starters, Crash actually probably gives a shit about the boulder. Here we see me obtain a trophy for spinning away an extra life, because Vicarious Visions thinks failure is funny. And here I obtain a trophy for acquiring the key in Sunset Vista. A trophy that, to this moment, I still have absolutely zero clue what the hell this even means. There.
That's a sign that you're laying pipe properly.
Progressing through the night, we would finish the first stream with just over half of the trophies completed and only 2 to 3 levels to go on the story campaign. As I said, the base game itself wasn't very demanding, and the following night we would begin by completing the leftover clear gems that we required so we could get to the main event, that being the time trials. Now, if we're all being honest here, the time trials, for the most part, honestly ain't shit. That's why it is I want to focus on the 3 main ones in my opinion, the big ones, the most irritating, and that being the high road, fumbling in the dark, and the lab. These 3 stages time trials were easily some of the most infuriating things I've ever done, and I willingly watched Mike Tyson fight Jake Paul. These 3 stages weren't even like fun challenging or even hard but satisfying, but instead being more like karaoke night with Helen Keller. It wasn't cool, it wasn't clever, it wasn't neat. In all honesty, they were just pure unadulterated horse shit, and they nearly ruined the game for me. Seriously, these levels are just pure hell. First off, the high road. I'm sure at a single glance it's probably already pretty easy to see what the issue with this level is, not to mention throwing a time trial on top of it. Asking you to complete this level in general is already a difficult task, but then asking you to do it in a hurry is a step above insanity. And remember, this is Crash 1, so there's no running shoes, no slide dash jumping, none of that. It's one speed run and a jump. I feel this is where it becomes painfully obvious that Crash 1 and 2 were never intended to have time trials in the first place, because while with Warped you have a plethora of abilities to help make navigating the stages easier, here you have nothing. Add the fact that this stage is just one giant pitfall, you have what I like to call a pusillanimous pile of putrid porcupine peckers. As if the stage itself wasn't already bad enough, you have the most questionable hitboxes I have ever seen on these turtles. To this moment, I have absolutely no idea what the hell is going on with these things. Sometimes I would barely get near their tails, and I would just die. Just land on top of the turtle. Why is it that my hitbox for when he lands on something is such garbage? It's such garbage. Sometimes my jump wouldn't register and I wouldn't bounce correctly off of them. It's garbage. It's garbage. This level sucks. This is the worst level that has ever been made in anything, ever. Up here function the way that they're supposed to. He doesn't get enough length off the jump. He doesn't get enough length off the jump. They want me to beat this level in 1 minute and 13 seconds, but they don't give me the tools that make it capable for me to beat the level in 1 minute and 13 seconds. They don't give me the tools capable of beating the level at all. Everything about the level is broken. No! Thing about this level is working correctly. Not gonna make it, not gonna make it. You don't get enough length. You don't get enough length in the jump. You don't get nothing. You don't get nothing with this game. Not length of your jump, not joy, not anything. This game sucks so much. It sucks to the nth degree. Oh my goodness. Oh my god, I have spent more time trying to get the gold relic in this level than I did collectively on the last 21 gold relics. This level is the worst level ever to be designed in anything. Ever. This is horrible. This sucks so bad. Oh my god, this is torture. This is torture. This is not fun. Parents out there, if there are parents listening to me right now, okay, and your children are asking for games, if you buy them this game, you're not nice. Oh my god. Sometimes I'd jump on them to flip them so I could bounce, and instead of flipping, they would just die. Why'd the turtle just die? I swear, playing this game is like getting a prostate exam from Edward Scissorhands. In the end, it came down to simply running that stage for nearly 2 hours straight before finally just becoming successful. Anybody who's capable of texting in the chat, can I please get a little bit of love right now? Next up was Fumbling in the Dark. While this one was definitely a step down in aggravation from the last, it still had its own unique set of frustrations. For starters, taking one hit may not kill you immediately, but it does instantly blind you. Using the Aku mask as flashlights may be a clever little idea, doesn't automatically make it fun for a speed run. Because while you can lose the light from taking damage, it seems they also have a bit of a time limit. Especially the later masks don't seem to hang around quite as long as the initial ones. Funny enough, the darkness is the challenge of this stage's time trial. You're not rushed by the time limit at all. They're actually pretty lenient with this one. But you are rushed by the later mask, feeling that you may be forced to push through some sort of darkness towards the end of the stage. In hindsight, it's definitely a better stage than the high road, but it was still stupid and annoying, and I still kind of hate it. Oh, you can jump when I hit the X button. Oh my god. A platinum relic. A platinum. I told you, I knew I was good on time. Here we are, folks, the final hurdle in this game's platinum, the time trial for the lab. First off, while the lab has pitfalls, it is certainly not as big of a hazard in that regard as the last two. But the lab has something completely different to contend with. Not weird-ass turtle hitboxes, not a limited light source, none of that. But instead, for your final challenge, you're asked to deal with a very precise in-game timer, because this entire stage seems to run on a cycle. One that if you even delay for a split second can throw off the entire cycle and ruin your entire run. And it's not something you can really see or keep track of without hours and hours of practice and time spent with this stage specifically. It's really just something you end up feeling after a while. You find yourself watching the patterns of the electricity shooting across the stage, or the amount of time that these switch boxes will keep the floor raised for you. It's one of those things that only other gamers will really understand, that you just lose over and over again until eventually something clicks in your brain and you get into sort of a flow state and everything comes together. It's done. And that was it, guys. That was my journey for getting the Crash 1 Platinum. I know it took a while to get out there, but then again, who gives a shit? Hope you all enjoyed it. Like, share, subscribe, kiss my ass. Really doesn't matter. See you guys in another 5 months.